What's up, Internet? My name is Mike and this is Carlinn, and we are content creators as well as influencers based in the beautiful Cape Town, South Africa. We're also Sony Alpha ambassadors, and today on the Alpha Universe we're here to teach you guys a little bit more about how we make money.
So that's actually one of the most frequently asked questions that slide into our DMs. So you guys live this amazing life, you do all this online stuff, do you actually get paid for it? So we decided to share some insider secrets today and kind of take you guys through the three main ways we monetize our business.
All right, let's get kicked off with influencer campaigns and how you can make money doing this sort of thing for brands. Because essentially that's where Carlinn and I started our business off 6 years ago in 2014 when we decided that we wanted to turn our hobby into a full-blown business.
So that was quite a while ago. So we've had some time to build our following. From 2014 till now, it's changed quite a bit in terms of content, especially in the last 2 years where we moved over to Sony.
Wow, I tell you what, that was one of the greatest moves that we could have ever done. And all of last year we shot with an amazing A7R3. This year we've been shooting with the A7R4 and a whole bunch of other gear. But I'm going to talk about the gear a little bit later. For now, let's focus on influence campaigns and how you can actually make money from them. Right, so we mentioned that we both have a big following on social media and that it took us a little bit of time to actually grow our following. But if you don't have a big following and you're worried that because you don't have a following you're not going to get jobs, don't worry, don't run away, because the new buzzword today, in today's industry, in today's technology, in today's internet, is micro-influencers.
So if you actually have a really engaged, even a small following, but they're really engaged, they really trust you and what you have to say online, that's the type of people that brands are looking for these days. And if you're one of those people, but you haven't been working with brands, you might have been doing some things wrong, but we're going to tell you what they are so you can change them and get brands to notice you. So you might be wondering, how do brands notice you?
Well, there's a few ways that you can get brands to notice you. I mean, the way that I started off back in 2014 when I did quit my job was by taking a whole bunch of photographs. I was already a photographer and I was going out there and creating different content. And I would upload these photographs onto Instagram or onto Facebook or onto Twitter, and I would tag brands. So say for instance there was a water bottle that I really loved. I would tag that specific brand that made that water bottle in those posts, not necessarily getting paid for it, but trying to show them like, look, this is the cool kind of content that I can create, just to kind of grab their attention. And sometimes brands actually look at that and they're like, whoa, where did you come from? And then they give you a shout, and the next thing you are doing your very first influencer campaign with them.
So that's actually a really cool way, and it still works for us. To just give you an example of real life, how it worked for us is last year we went to Bali and we posted loads of photos. Obviously it's a beautiful place, and I tagged the tourism board in all the photos. And earlier this year, they actually emailed us and they said, listen, we saw you posting some epic photos of Bali. Do you want to come to Indonesia and come do a press trip? And we were like, wow, we can't believe that actually worked. We never contacted the tourism board or anything. We simply just tagged the photos and they actually saw them and they loved what we put out there.
Yeah, it's great. So that is just one way that you can really catch a brand's attention by just simply posting really, really epic content onto your social media. Not necessarily through a campaign that you're already doing with a brand, but just to grab their attention. And it might not necessarily be that brand that you tag that's attention is grabbed. It might be somebody else that looks at that and goes, wow, did you see what that guy did? He posted that. Did he do a campaign with that brand? Maybe we should get in touch with that person and do a campaign with them as well. So do you see how these little things that you do online, just by posting epic content onto your social media, how can help you maybe catch a brand's attention? Another way to catch a brand's attention is by using a media kit. Now, Carlinn has basically designed our media kit for us, so I'll let her tell you a little bit more about it.
Okay, so one thing that we did when we started out as influencers is we did contact a lot of brands. Kind of like cold calling, but on email. And to do that, you really need to have a strong opinion or voice or idea that you can share with this brand, because remember, they are parting with their social media or their marketing budget. So you need to convince them why they need to give you money for something in return. Okay, right. So the first thing that you have to do is create a media kit. Include your stats, and we even include screenshots because it's so important to be transparent when you're working with brands. They really want to know what's going on behind the scenes on your social as well. So include your stats, include some previous campaigns if you've done that. If you haven't, include some nice images that you've shot that could look like they could be for a potential campaign. And then in this media kit, you send that to them, but also a proposal.
Yeah.
And you tell them exactly what you have in mind. You can't just go out there and say, listen here, I really like your product. I'm going to post it on my social. Please give me some money. That's not how it works. It's actually a lot of different things that you have to add, and you have to put the work in, and they have to see how passionate you are.
Yeah.
So definitely contact brands. Don't be intimidated. I know we were.
Yeah.
But if you are professional and you do it the right way, they're going to respect that. They're going to be interested. They're actually going to open your email, read it, and give it some thought, and maybe get back to you and do a campaign with you.
That's right. And don't be discouraged if people don't get in touch with you straight away as well, because back in the beginning when Carlinn and I started off, we were pumping out like 100, 200 emails a day, like sometimes, to like just different brands, whether it be travel, whether it be like little adventure type stuff. We were just pumping out as many emails as we possibly could. And sometimes only 2 or 3 of those would come back to us. So don't get discouraged by that, because at the end of the day, people are busy, and sometimes people don't even have the marketing budget that Carlinn was talking about to really part with. So they're not going to give you the time of day because they don't have that budget, so they'll just kind of like move on. But do definitely wow them in your email that you send over to them and with your media kit, because that way they'll keep it in a little safe place and they'll get in touch with you when it's a good time to get in touch with you.
And also remember, when you're contacting brands, don't just contact, Mike mentioned we contact a lot of brands. There are quite a few brands in what we are interested in doing, travel, lifestyle, that type of thing. But always align yourself with brands that you actually love, brands that you can see yourself working with and your audience will enjoy.
Yeah, like stick to your niche. It's very important. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to be an influencer, stick to your niche. So Carlinn and I are travel and lifestyle and adventure, so you'll see a lot of travel and lifestyle and adventure stuff posted onto our social media, but you're not going to really see me posting about makeup on mine, because, well,
maybe on mine.
yeah, probably on Carlinn's, but definitely not on mine, because makeup is definitely not up my alley. However, what you will see on my stuff is like hiking boots and jackets and in the mountains and things like that. So I stick with my niche and with the stuff that my followers love, and she sticks with what she loves, you know, and people love it. It's important to only post stuff that you are passionate about, because if you're going to start posting stuff that you're not really passionate about, it will actually reflect in your content.
Another thing that you can do if you are a little bit scared of sending emails, or you have sent quite a few and no one's getting back to you, or you have a problem with that, is to sign up to some influencer marketing platforms. There are quite a few of them, especially globally, and we have actually gotten some jobs from international ones, so you can go check them out. But 3 local ones that we have gotten jobs through is Webfluential, The Salt, and InTheHash. So signing up to these influencer networks just means that they take the middleman position, and they take care of some of the admin, the chatting to the brands, and all of that stuff that you might not be so familiar or so comfortable with doing. Yeah. And it's a really good way to get started, especially for a few first campaigns, to get into the swing of things, make some money, feel a little bit more confident, and then from there you can contact brands yourself.
Another thing that's great about platforms like Webfluential and InTheHash is that when you insert your social media stuff onto the actual platform itself, when you insert your username, it goes and does all the analytics in the background, in the back end, and it spits out what you should be charging for an Instagram post, what you should be charging for a Facebook post, what a blog post, etc., etc. So that's a great way of figuring out how to actually charge brands as well, because I remember when we started, we were like, how much do you charge for this sort of thing? I mean, it's one of those things, like, still asked to this day, like, how much do you charge for this? And it's there's a whole lot more that goes into it. But if you don't know how much to charge for your campaigns, then go and work with one of these little online platforms, because they will definitely be able to help you out in terms of figuring out how much to charge. Another important tip when working with brands, whether it be through an online platform or whether you're working directly with the brands, is definitely only put out your best work. That is something that Carlinn and I stick by 100%. 100%. Yeah, we have to be. You only ever upload your best work. You only ever give a brand your best work.
And always go a little bit extra as well. We are extra.
Yeah, super extra. I love going extra. Okay, so I love going that extra mile for a brand, because that way it catches their attention, and what's going to happen afterwards?
Get more jobs.
You'll get more jobs from the same brand, because if you wow them with the first campaign, they're going to come back to you over and over and over again.
Exactly.
So, like, in fact, one brand that I've worked with for years and years, even like since just before I quit my full-time job, is Ford South Africa. I've done so many campaigns with them. I've gone around the country. I've traveled internationally with Ford as well. So has Carlinn. Just by doing a whole bunch of cool stuff with them on influencer campaigns and giving them really, really cool stuff. In fact, here's a shot that I took when I went to Botswana with them to go and launch the Ford Everest, was it last year? The year before last. And we went out to the Makharachari salt pans, and I mean, this was the darkest that the sky has ever been. When we arrived there, the moon was going down, and it was just, we just knew it was going to be super, super dark. So here's an awesome panel that I shot for them. I gave it to them, and I mean, this shot is so high res that you can actually blow it up and it'll be the size that you can print onto a billboard. Okay, it's just massive.
So basically, they just love Mike's work. He went extra, stayed up the whole night, and created this amazing shot. So they're always going to want to work with him again.
Yeah. Right, next up is content creation.
So we kind of fell into content creation, and we have just like not even grown to love it. We've loved it from the very first time we started doing it. So in the beginning, when we didn't get paid for it, we used to do a lot of trade exchanges or influencer campaigns, be it with resorts, lodges, hotels, even brands.
Yeah.
And we would always end up with so much extra footage or photos, and we would be like, well, we're not really going to use this. Some of the photos aren't photos that we would specifically post on our social media.
Yeah.
So we just started giving this extra footage to the brands or extra photos to the brands. And they absolutely loved it. They posted it on their social medias. And from there, other brands or other hotels started seeing that and actually contacting us and paying us to come out and do specifically content creation. Now, if you think about it, being an influencer and doing content creation on the side as well, they get kind of 2 in 1.
Yeah, it's 2 in 1.
Which is amazing. And they also don't have to pay an extra photographer, model, all of those things to come take photos of their brand or of their hotel. And sometimes...
Sorry, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to go off on, is that, you know, say for instance, you're working with a hotel and you've gone there and you're doing Instagram stuff and you've got a whole bunch of photographs. Remember what I said a little bit earlier about going the extra mile? This was us going the extra mile and giving them some shots. And then we realized that you can actually make quite a bit of cash from doing this as well. So we started working with brands and especially hotels and creating content for them. And one of my favorites, in fact, I'll tell you guys about 2 examples and 2 of my favorite campaigns that we've shot with hotels recently is the Mount Nelson, the 100 Years of Pink. That was super fun.
I love that.
Because like Carlinn said, shooting with us and being your own content, well, basically being a content creator and being your own model and things like that, that way the hotel's not spending extra money on getting the models, they're using us, right? And we're the photographers and the content creators as well. And I know that Carlinn has been looking at the Mount Nelson for years and years and years. She went to school just on the road from it. So she was super excited when they asked us to do the 100 Years of Pink.
So that was a really fun one to do. We came up with a mood board, we shot all these really cool shots for them, and they absolutely loved it. So that was quite a big campaign to be a part of. And then the next one was another hotel brand that we really love.
Oh, I love the Radisson group of hotels. Okay, so we've done a whole bunch of work with Radisson Blue as well as Radisson Red. But Radisson Blue asked us, the Radisson Blue Waterfront asked us recently to shoot a whole bunch of content for them as well as a video. And that was really fun because it was just down the road from us and we got to go and experience this beautiful hotel with the most epic views. And we got to create some really cool content along the way.
So what they actually wanted from us was really like kind of adventurous but also romantic couples content. We're a good choice for that because they see it on our social all the time. So that was the brief we were given, and we just took so many photos. We always give extra, so maybe they would ask for 50 images and we would give them 100. So we just went extra because we probably had those photos anyway, so why not give it to them? And then they're always going to work with us again.
Yeah, that's right. Repeat work comes from giving good work to the brands.
But another thing is that to be a content creator and give these photos to brands, you really need to have good quality photos because sometimes they would want to use it in print, on their social, they might want it really high res quality, so you need good gear.
That's right. So actually, speaking of gear, I'll go back into the gear now. Carlinn and I have been shooting, like I said, last year we shot with the A7R Mark III and we shot a whole bunch of content with that. paired with a 16-35mm f2.8 GM lens. But this year we've kind of upgraded things and we've got a little bit more extra gear with us. So we upgraded to the a7R4. We've added a 70-200 f2.8 GM into our camera bag as well. So now we have this amazing camera that shoots 61 megapixel images with this great glass, and then we've also got the a6400 as well as the RX100 Mark VI.
Okay, so how we use these different lenses and different cameras for content creation. The wide, nice 16-35mm lens, so nice and wide. This is perfect for hotel room shots, those really nice landscape shots if you do a lot of travel tourism work. So we've been really loving that lens for that. And then the 70-200.
Oh, this is our new baby.
Such nice dreamy footage, dreamy photos. Mike does really good portraits with it. It can do some really nice lifestyle shots where you want to get tight in on someone at hotels. So that's been amazing. And then our other two cameras are great for doing vlogging and video on the go as well.
That's right. The a6400, I've absolutely been loving this new system because it's easy to hold out, you flip up the screen and you're pretty much good to go straight from the get-go if you want to use it for vlogging. And if you want to go and do some crazy adventure stuff and you're running around in the mountains and you don't want to carry a heavy a7R4 or even the a6400 with you, then we've got the RX100 Mark VI. I love it. There is an upgrade to the Mark 7, but even the Mark 6 is just such a fantastic little pocket rocket. I love that camera.
So this brings us to our last way of making money, and that's selling digital products online. Now this is also something we only started doing recently or in recent years. So we started off with influencing. That is how we started making our money. Then that kind of evolved into content creation as well, another extra way to make money. And then lastly, we added selling online because it's a great way to make passive income, especially if you're a traveler. So you don't have to send products or anything. It's digital, it's online, and people can buy it all the time. So we started a website called the Palm Tribe, and we started selling up, my presets on there. So if you guys don't know what a preset is, it's basically just like a filter you put on your images that gets made on Lightroom, and you can use it on mobile or desktop, and it's something that other people really love, people that don't really know about editing. So it was super popular. So we're selling presets on this website, and then we kind of thought, why not go a little bit extra and start selling other things as well?
Yeah, like prints. So now we're selling some of our prints over there as well. And like Carlinn said, it's great because we don't have to actually physically go out and post these images. It's all done through an online platform, and we just upload our images and people come on there and they buy the images and they get posted up to them. And we're literally just sitting at home doing nothing because it's passive income, and that is the best sort of income that you want, especially as a freelancer.
So, we're not actually doing nothing.
Yeah, it's not nothing. But
we're creating all these things, but because people can buy them over and over, it means you're getting income all the time from it. Whereas you're only putting it up once or every month or ever so often. So we also decided, why not use our skills and our knowledge to teach people things, and we also have online consultations. So teaching people about social media, about the ins and outs, things that they might not know or might not find on the internet, because it's always great to have a kind of insider's view on things, because a lot of people that post these things online don't really want to share everything with you. So those are the digital products basically that we sell online, and this is a great way as an influencer to use your skills. Like, we use our editing skills, our photography skills, our knowledge to make money.
Right, so that is it on how Carlinn and I make money, or at least 3 of the ways on how we make money, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about how you can potentially go out and make your own money as well, either creating content or being an influencer. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more about what we get up to, then definitely go give us a follow on Instagram. I'm Life of Mike ZA, and this is Camp Spay Girl on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And then also, if you want to follow our couple account, we go by Jill Passports. Right, then make sure that you constantly go and check up on the Alpha Universe, because all of the ambassadors from not just South Africa, but all over Middle East and Africa are constantly uploading their knowledge onto the universe and teaching you guys different tips and tricks, whether it be weddings, whether it be shooting film, or whether it be doing influencing stuff like we do. There's a lot of it out there, so go check out the Alpha Universe, and don't forget to go follow @Sony Alpha SA.
Cheers, guys!
See you later.